Deaver. I'm a Battalion Chief Paramedic with Surface Fire and Medical Services. I was just recently promoted to Battalion Chief, and prior to that I was a Captain Paramedic with the Surface Fire and Medical Services for about 5 years. I've been with Service to Fire for 10 years. Prior to that I was with Fry Fire District for about 3.5 years as a firefighter and paramedic. Okay. So I always thought growing up that I wanted to be a police officer like my father and some of my brothers. I was actually doing a ride-along with one of my brothers up in the valley. He was a police officer, and we were the first on scene of a motorcycle accident, and we got there and there was no medical aid available yet. We arrived on scene and we found the motorcyclist down on the ground at the intersection. He was critically injured, and I can remember feeling very helpless. My brother was trying to help control traffic, and he asked me to try to help the rider, and the rider had some pretty serious injuries. And I remember watching the fire department arrive on scene and stabilize him and take care of him, and then following up with the rider at the trauma center and watching the trauma center work and the trauma team work on that rider. And I was very struck with how neat of an experience that was, and that really stuck with me. And I decided at that point that I still love the emergency side, I love the first responder aspect of it, but that the medical and fire side was probably more my calling than law enforcement. And to this day I'm grateful for that decision, because it has allowed me to really develop into the person that I feel I am today, being able to approach the first responder aspect from a fire and medical side versus the law enforcement. And I have a great deal of respect for law enforcement, my law enforcement family. They do a very difficult job, but I feel that for me this was a better fit. And that's when I first decided I want to be in the fire service on that call that day. The most challenging part of this job for me, basically being able to having to see the public members of our community in such difficult circumstances in their life. It's because they are having a very, very terrible day, and having to see that and just the empathy and the sorrow and the sympathy that I feel for them during those times is difficult, because you see them going through things that you yourself know it would crush you and your family, having to go through those types of things. And so it's very difficult to be there with them during that moment, but it's also very rewarding to know that we can be there and we can offer comfort and peace during their time of sorrow and difficulties. The most satisfying part of this job is our ability to give back and to truly be servants. I feel that one of the neatest things about our job and our career in general is that we truly are public servants. And when you take that service literal and when you apply it, it becomes a very fulfilling and heartwarming job, because you truly can serve. You don't expect anything in return. You don't feel like anybody has to pay you or give you back anything. You're just trying to do your very best to be a servant and a pure public servant at heart. And that's the most satisfying aspect of this job, is being able to literally serve in any capacity that our community members need us in during their time of need. This is an amazing opportunity that I've been given to be able to be where I am and to be in the position that I'm in today. And I owe it to those above me, those around me, who have mentored me, taught me, coached me, and helped me get to where I am today. And I really am impressed by the fact that I'm here because of others and their help and all that they've given to me, especially my family, my wife who sacrifices so much, my family who sacrifices so much so that I can have the time to be here, and then my bosses and my peers and those around me. And I'm here because of that, and I like to give back, and I like to help others, and I like to mentor others because of that, because of all that I've been given through the grace of others. It's time for me to give back.